What up? This is Rama Screen, and in anticipation of Bloody Hell, which arrives in select theaters and drive-ins and on demand January 14th, and on Blu-ray and DVD January 19th, I'm here talking with the screenwriter of this new horror action comedy movie, Rob Benjamin. How are you, Rob?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good, good. I'm well. Thank you for taking the time. And thank you for the follow on Twitter. I appreciate that, my friend.
Absolutely.
So, Rob, the first obvious question would be how did you come up with this story? Because I watched this film the other day and it was absolutely bonkers. There was a little bit of Eli Roth in there, a little bit of Tarantino as well. It's such a twisted ride. So, what's the inspiration behind Bloody Hell?
Well, I mean, tonally or story-wise, there's two different answers. I'll go
Okay.
story first. The first one being I was traveling, I was in a tram, and there was a family of foreigners around me while I was sitting down, and they were talking in their native language, probably Eastern European or something. And one of the women would look at me and smile, and then go back to chatting, look at me and smile, go back to chatting, probably being very nice, but paranoid me. I'm like, what are they talking about? So I started thinking, all right, hypothetically, what would I do if I woke up in a basement tied to a water pipe? So I went to the gift shop, I bought a pad, and I just started jotting down all the ideas of what I would actually do if that happened. And I think I wrote the entire outline sitting at my gate. And then totally, I just love movies. I love horror movies. I love action movies. The names you mentioned are huge inspirations. So I kind of just, it's just kind of in my head to write in that style. And write what I know I like. I just wrote a movie that I know I would love to see. So that's kind of what came out.
And how many drafts of the script that you went through until the final version of it?
Well, I would say we went through a few different versions until it was actually green lit.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like 3 or 4, but once we're on set, like that's a different story. You kind of go through every day. There's a new revision. There's a new, color of revision pages. So I think we're probably at like 30 by the time we wrapped, just because you have different changes here and there. So it was a process for sure.
That actually went with my next question, actually, because um, how did how did Alistair come into the equation? And tell us about your collaboration with Alistair in bringing your vision onto the screen.
Yeah, well, Al came on. We actually had an original director, and he had a scheduling conflict, so he had to leave, and we we had just found Ben at the time, so it was kind of like, and Ben had like a 2 week window, well, not 2 week, like a 3 month window where he could work, so we had to find a director pretty quickly. The next thing I knew, the producer Brett called me and said, we have this guy Al, he loves the script, said he wouldn't change a word, and he wants to do it. So I'm like, okay, great, let's talk to him. We talked. He said all the right things, and we kind of went to work. As far as production, you kind of just let the director do their thing. His job is to interpret your words and bring them to life. I interjected where I could, and we always talked about certain things. And overall, it was a pretty easy process. So this is the result.
Now, one of the things that impresses me about this film as I was watching it, because the lead protagonist is supposedly an American character, right? And the villains are supposed to be Europeans, and the setting is in Europe. Believe me, I would not have been able to guess that this was all Australian or New Zealanders production, the people, talents. I mean, you guys did a great job because I couldn't tell at all. So, talk to me about that. Was that always the plan from the beginning?
Well, certainly not when I wrote it. When I wrote it, I figured we would cast Finnish people and we would shoot in America. But when I sold it to Eclectic Vision, who's an Australian production company, that was kind of the route they had to go. They're co-funded by Screen Queensland, which is also an Australian company. So there's a certain requirement of cast and crew that have to be Australians, and we obviously had to shoot on the coast of Queensland. So when it came to casting that family, I definitely had my reservations. I was like, how are they going to pull this off? But holy crap, did they pull it off? I mean, they all did an amazing job, but the mother, Caroline Craig, with her 1 minute monologue in Finnish, we didn't do that in takes. Like, we didn't do that in bits. She memorized that whole phonetic speech, which blew me away. So they did an amazing job, and I couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, really, they were superb.
I'm sure it sounds like there's a lot of adjustments along the way. And but now that you've seen the film, what did you think of Ben O'Toole as your lead character Rex? What do you think about his performance there?
I couldn't imagine anyone else in the role. I mean, the thing about Ben was, we spent a while looking for the right Rex, and Honestly, he understood these two characters almost as much as I did. I mean, I would say there was nothing I could have even added to his performance. And the thing about it is, we didn't even really get to talk too much on set. You know, I didn't direct the movie, so I didn't get to tell him what was in my head, but I didn't need to. He nailed it. I think Ben's a star. I hope this does wonders for him. He nailed this role, and I couldn't ask for anything more. He was great.
Yeah, he was, man. He astounded me. So talk to me about the dual character thing. What do you think the movie wants to convey on that? And yeah, I mean, people might take it as a mental health issues. What is your take?
Well, the thing about that is, look, you write a movie like this and you expect that there might be some controversy or whatever. Like, you know, there's going to be discussion. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I wrote in this movie that could be taken either way. I didn't write it for that cause, and I didn't write it for any sort of agenda. I wrote an entertaining movie. Or I tried to, at least. The reason there was a duality was because I found myself arguing with myself about what I would do if I was caught in that basement. And I thought, well, this would be an interesting thing to explore. I mean, you could have the one character just talking and out of both sides of his mouth, but that might get boring. So I felt it would be good to explore, what if your conscience was personified? And you know, it's one thing to write it down; it's the other thing to execute it. And thank goodness for Ben. I mean, he nailed it. So no, there was no message really there. Again, people can take away whatever they want, but I was just trying to tell a good story.
Quick fun question. Have you received any response from people from Finland?
Not me personally. That's funny. I did. There are a couple reviews, I think, online floating around out there, and you know, overall they like the movie. I'm anticipating more discussion once it's out in America, and hopefully blows up a little bit. But we'll see. So far, nothing bad. I mean, you know, I wasn't trying to attack their country. It was just happened to be that way.
Finally, so what's next for you, Rob? And are you writing the sequel to Bloody Hell?
We'll find out what's next. If there's a demand for it, I absolutely have a story. I'm ready to go. There's nothing on paper, but it's all in my head. I would love to see where Rex and Alia and even Ali go. So we'll find out if that's something people want.
All right, for my fans at home, everybody go check out Bloody Hell in theaters, drive-ins, and on-demand January 14th, and on Blu-ray DVD January 19th. Rob, thank you for talking to me, and I'll see you on Twitter, my friend.
Thank you so much. Take care, man.